Something that we love about Minnesota fighting Vikings superstar wide receiver Justin friggin' Jefferson is that he's so damn genuine. Like, there's nothing fake about him. What you see is what you get, and it just is what it is, right? Like, he will answer a question if asked. He's not afraid to be a little bit cocky. He's got that chip on his shoulder, except he's just so damn smooth all the time. And Bleacher Report did up an AMA, that's Ask Me Anything, for the boomers in the audience. And yes, it is sponsored content from Lids. But either way, Justin Jefferson gave some very frank answers on a couple of pressing questions. We want to walk through it because it just makes you love him more. Like, every time Jefferson plays or every time Jefferson talks, it just makes you fall in love with the kid more. So let's get into it. Yeah, and like we said, this is sponsored by Lids. I know you'll be debuting a hat collection. I'm buying one of those hats. That's right, man. Speaking of our hats, they're coming. Producer Allie grinding away on it. It should be ready for the start of the season. So, nailed it. Blah, blah, blah. Every athlete has a style. Da, da, da. Talking about his older brothers. Also played at LSU. Here we go. Which NFL player did you most want to be like growing up? Random Moss. Now, is that true? I mean, it's possible. He grew up in Louisiana, so maybe it was Joe Horn. God, that makes me feel old. Guys growing up watching Joe Horn. But no, Randy Moss was just that guy. But here's what he said. Him just being one of the greatest players of all time at receiver. I just idolized him and definitely just wanted to be like him. Growing up, I was playing quarterback and wanted to be like my older brother, seeing him at LSU games. And I wanted to be on that big stage too. Going into high school, things didn't go how I wanted. And then being switched to receiver helped me grow love for different players after watching a lot of film. Also, when he was coming out of high school, he was a two-star recruit. Also, his brother he's talking about is Jordan Jefferson, who wore number 9 at LSU. A really solid quarterback for the Tigers back in the day. And then, speaking of LSU, what game do you know the LSU team was legit? This is the spicy one. Would you say your national title winning squad was the best college football team ever? I would say it's the best to ever play college football. All the different awards and accolades and going undefeated. A lot of things we accomplished throughout that year. Our stats prove it too, breaking so many different records, like me and Jamar getting 1,500 yards each. That's especially hard to do in the SEC. And I mean, that LSU team, that was a bad team, baby. Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall Jr., Thaddeus Moss, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Stingley. The entire LSU defense was stacked as well. I mean, going undefeated and just woodshedding every single team in your way, I mean, it's tough. I would say... So I would say the 2019 LSU Tigers, I'll say the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, that would be a hell of a game. If both teams in their prime that season, just getting after it, maybe some of the Alabama teams as well, just USA. Talk about being a chip on the shoulder, 5th wide receiver in the draft, sort of is what it is. Now, this is one of my favorite answers from Jefferson, and it's very subtle. What was your welcome to the NFL moment? My first start in the NFL, week 3, by the way, because Zimmer and Kubiak are geniuses, when I was playing against Tennessee and getting 175 yards and hitting the gritty for the first time. That's a home game against the Tennessee Titans. It made me feel like I had a place in the league and I could really do something. Hopefully I don't have any bad welcome to the NFL moments and only good ones. All right, so everyone lists their bad welcome to the NFL moments, like they get earholed by Harrison Smith, or they get sacked, or they get this, or they get that, or the other thing, or they're just, this game is so fast. But no, he talks about his welcome to the NFL moment when he finally got to start because his coaches were just geniuses, absolute geniuses. They lost that game, by the way, and then just housing people for $1.75. I just love it. I just love it, man. Most talented. So. Of course, Vikings and Justin Jefferson and the Bills and Stefon Diggs are always going to be tied like this because of the trade. But someone asked, do you and Stefon Diggs still keep any kind of relationship? And if so, what is that like? Because you both will have a special place in Minnesota sports history. Just what Jefferson said, we don't really talk as much. Some comments on social media and stuff like that. I've always been a fan of Steph, and I'm always keeping tabs on him and watching him. It's cool to see me and him both doing great things. And that's the way to go about it. It doesn't seem like there's any ill will from Diggs to Jefferson either. They just seem to have a professional relationship. And even though, they are tied to this whole situation with the trade, I mean, how great would it be Vikings, Bills, 0 for 4, 0 for 4 in the Super Bowl. Someone's got to win. And then, of course, you got 2 weeks of the Jefferson and Stefon Diggs storyline. And also, we'll see the Minneapolis Miracle like 15,000 times. Be okay. Be okay, man. Next up, there have been a few recent changes in Minnesota with a new head coach. What do you expect from your new coach along with your guys, KJ and Irv, to help you take this team to the next level? We're expecting big things. All of us are expecting to at least make the playoffs. We're feeling with all these players on this team, there's no reason we shouldn't be there for the big game. The big game. So he's talking about Super Bowl. Woo! I love it, man. All of us are connecting with our new coaches and ready to see what happens. It's just a matter of time. And we said this a bunch. It does feel like there's a different energy coming out of TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill. All the players are just effervescing, just wanting to get after, want to play hard for each other and the coaches. So, I mean, I think that the Vikings 8-9 last year, they could easily be the most improved team this year and then just go after it. Plus, I love that Jefferson's not afraid to say, like, there's no reason why we shouldn't be there for the big game. All right, because, I mean, he focused on winning. Like, LSU, all he does is win, no matter what. He's never been above 500 at any point in his Vikings career. That's a shame. That's a sham. That's shambles. Got here. Talking about the gritty. Talking about new celebration. Funniest guy in the Vikings locker room, Chris Boyd. We said this before. Chris Boyd is hilarious. All right, and Jefferson backs that up. Favorite restaurant in Minnesota, The Nook. It has gooey cheese inside of the meat, and it's pretty good. So he's talking about the Juicy Lucy. And the Nook is fantastic. The St. Paul institution. They have a bunch of burgers named after Minnesota athletes. It's great. I mean, so even though they primarily do burgers for Cretan Durham Hall guys, they can make an exception for Justin Jefferson, right? I mean, come on. Come on, man. Who hits the second best gritty in the NFL? I guess you could say Jamar Chase. Of course, you know, both tied to LSU, where the gritty started. And I'm surprised he didn't say Kirk. How come they didn't ask him about Kirk's gritty? If you weren't a wide receiver, what position would you play? Quarterback for sure. Now, like I said, his brother Jordan was quarterback at LSU back in the day. I think Jefferson, I mean, he would have the moves. Plus, there was a couple of plays. I can't remember if it was his rookie year or last year where it was clear that he had a run-pass option. It was like a reverse or something. And like he had that thing like ready to go. He wanted to unleash the rocket. Unleash the fury. If it weren't for football, what would you be doing right now? It would be some other sport like basketball. I'm pretty sure if I had the same dedication I had to basketball that I had with football, I'd be doing something there. And again, tying back to Randy Moss. Randy Moss was a bad dude on the basketball court. Him and Jason Williams on the same team in high school. Come on. Favorite NBA player, LeBron James, the GOAT. Now, this is a generational thing where, I actually think that he was too young for Kobe. So LeBron is right in his wheelhouse in terms of, watching the best player in his prime. Sure. Michael Jordan has entered the chat, and he took that personally. And then lastly, give me your top 5 current NFL wide receivers. Davante Adams, me, Cooper Kupp, or Jamar Chase are interchangeable. And then you got Stefon Diggs at 5. So again, respect to Stefon Diggs making his top 5. I don't know if Diggs would be in a lot of people's top 5s. He certainly would be in the top 10s, but that's some big respect there. Also, interesting that he doesn't put himself at 1. I think this is just maybe a little bit of false humility in this spot because obviously he thinks he's number 1. But respect to Davante Adams. You got to see him twice a year. Kind of glad that he's out of the division. And now Aaron Rodgers' number 1 wide receiver is Sammy Watkins or Alan Lazard. Woo! Woo. But it's it's a little bit of false humility that he's at 2, Davante Adams at 1, but he still puts himself ahead of Cooper Kupp, who won the Triple Crown last year, as well as his teammate Jamar Chase, who had a fantastic rookie year and broke a couple of JJ's rookie records, but sort of is what it is there. But it's super interesting. Again, Justin Jefferson, he doesn't have any false airs about him. Like, if you ask him a question, he will give you an honest answer. And I love that he says that, our LSU team was the best ever. I love that he says that Randy Moss was his idol. I love that he says that there's no reason why we can't be in the big game. That's right. That's right, man. Especially, it's got to be frustrating for him last year where he saw Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, his 2 teammates at LSU, go to the Super Bowl with the Bengals. Didn't work out, but they still got to that stage. And that's where Jefferson wants to be. That's where he's going to shine bright like a diamond. That's what he does. Just love that about him, man. Also, the second he's eligible for an extension, we need to lock him up long term because otherwise he's going to join the Bengals. Even though they already got a couple great wide receivers. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Going through Justin Jefferson's AMA on Bleacher Report. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.